Hey guys, how's it going? So today on the episode, I have something a little bit different. For the last little while, I've kind of been looking for another vehicle. So as you guys know, I obviously have my 2009 Challenger RT that the entire channel is based around. And you also probably know that I do have my Jeep Wrangler 2012. I've featured it a couple times, done a few fixes on it on the channel over the years. The Jeep is still here. The Jeep is awesome. Both of these vehicles I bought brand new, and they've both been absolutely rock solid for me, and I still love both vehicles. But I was looking for something different. So lately I've kind of been looking around, shopping for a truck actually. Now I'm not exclusively a truck guy. I mean, I drive them all the time for work. I work in the trades, so definitely not foreign to me driving a truck, things like that. But just for around the house, just hauling gear, hauling stuff for the band, just general house things. A truck is really, really handy. Now lately I've been kind of keeping my eyes peeled on Facebook Marketplace and just kind of around dealerships, but I'm not really looking to spend that much. I was really trying to get something as kind of that, you know, third vehicle that I just kind of have when I need it, something that I'm not going to be driving all the time, that kind of thing. Just something that's handy and useful, but that I don't need all the time. So spending a ton of money on a brand new truck, definitely not on a brand new truck, especially with prices right now. Are you kidding me? But even the used truck market is crazy. Now trucks typically hold their value a lot longer than cars, and even Jeeps. Jeeps hold their value really well, but trucks even more so. To the point that shopping around was kind of a bit of a reality check of, okay, maybe we'll just cool it on the idea of getting a third vehicle. You know, trucks that are 300,000 K that people still want, you know, 15 grand for, things like that is just a bit too crazy for me. Something I definitely wasn't really interested in. And there's a ton of trucks like this all over the marketplace. It's just too many miles and they're asking way too much. It just honestly wasn't worth it. However, my little brother-in-law, as well as my father-in-law, they're both bodymen. So my father-in-law owns a body shop, and my wife's little brother has worked there most of his adult life. They're both exceptionally good bodymen. And my little brother-in-law has been picking damaged cars, specifically hail damaged cars, because in southern Alberta there is a ton of crazy hailstorms that seem to happen every single summer now. Just like baseball size and golf ball size hail that just run through usually Calgary or some, you know, Airdrie, a lot of central to southern Alberta kind of cities, and just wreak havoc. And a ton of vehicles get written off as just not worth the cost to repair. So what happens is, after the insurance companies deem a lot of these cars not worth a repair, they go up for auctions. And my little brother-in-law has been picking up a lot of vehicles that are pretty decent otherwise, and then fixing up the bodywork on them and then reselling them brand new. I kind of like that because, I mean, he's using his skills to his advantage, but also I'm always a fan of fixing up vehicles that have potential. And a lot of these vehicles are still really great vehicles. Just unfortunately had the misfortune of sitting out in a massive hailstorm. So seeing them come back to life, I kind of like that, seeing these vehicles back on the road, not just tossed away before their time. So I mentioned this to my little brother-in-law, that I've been looking for a truck just for practical reasons. And he mentioned, you know, why don't you take a look at the auction site and see if there's anything on there that kind of catches your eye, just let me know, and we can take a look at bidding on it when the bid is going to be and stuff like that, when the auction happens for that particular vehicle. So one day, looking through these hail damaged vehicles, I kind of came across a Ram 1500 that kind of caught my eye. A couple things, the color, black, man, I'm such a sucker for black. The front bumper, I wanted the painted front bumper, not the chrome front bumper. Call me picky, but I just kind of wanted something that looked a little more fierce and a little less job site, if you know what I mean. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I drive those trucks every day, but just, yeah, something a little bit more street, if you know what I mean. And then on top of that, it had the very cool sort of RT style dual Ram Air sort of style hood, which I really, really liked. So looking at this particular truck, it had 240,000 kilometers on it. So not brand new, definitely not brand new, but less than I have on the Jeep. The Jeep has 280,000. But you know, the truck itself, I could see there was rust definitely on a bunch of different spots. But something just kind of caught my eye on it. It had the look and a lot of the things I was looking for. Obviously the 4x4, I wanted a shorter box. I didn't want a long box, and a tonneau cover, which was really nice. It seemed like a really good truck that I could have as a third vehicle for exactly what I wanted it for. So looking at the Black Book value of this, which is listed on every profile, the Black Book value was $16,500 for this truck. And most of these hail damage vehicles usually go for about a third of their value. But my brother-in-law did warn me that with trucks, they usually go for more, kind of just like how they go for more always, no matter what the scenario. So he mentioned that it might be a little bit more expensive than we want to spend. So fast forward a couple weeks, and the particular auction for this truck comes up on the auction block. And my brother gets a hold of me and says, hey, your truck's going up for auction today. Do you want me to throw in a bid for you? Just throw in something and see if maybe you get lucky and get it for a good price. But maybe not, because they tend to go for a lot. And I said, okay, sure. Like, why don't we throw down maximum $4,000? I'll throw $4,000 down and just kind of see what happens. So lo and behold, an hour later at work, I get a phone call from my little brother, and go figure, we won the truck auction. I won the truck for $3,900, believe it or not, which is crazy. Now that's not the final total of the truck, because after the $3,900 you have taxes to pay and then dealer auction fees. So the total cost came up to $4,900. So it was an extra $1,000 with tax and fees, but still $4,900 for a fairly decent truck. That was very exciting. Now, mind you, I hadn't had a chance to take a look at the truck in person because the city that this truck is from is 3 hours away. We could watch videos of the truck running, so I did do that and listen to it, and it seemed to be in good order. And because my brother-in-law is a member, he did get access to all the records, the maintenance records for the truck, which is good. So it looked like it had been maintained pretty meticulously up to about 150,000 K. And then it kind of goes blank there, but I think at that point, the owner might have just been doing a lot of the maintenance himself. At least that's what we were kind of hoping. But just judging by how the truck was running and stuff in the videos, it seemed like it was not too bad. With a lot of experience with the 5.7 Hemis, you kind of get a feel for when you're listening to it and something doesn't sound great in the motor. So that was super exciting. I definitely knew that there was going to be rust that I was going to have to tackle along the wheel wells on the box. Super common on all trucks. It's not just Rams, Chevs, everything. But having done a little bit of body work, but being in sheet metal as my trade, and being pretty good with welding and just working with metal in general, not in an auto body capacity, but in an HVAC capacity, I was fairly confident that I could probably fix a lot of this stuff myself. And with my family as any kind of advisor for any questions I had for fixing it up along the way, I felt pretty confident that I'd be in good shape to fix this truck up, probably fairly cheap myself, and have a really nice truck for hopefully not a lot of money, which is great. So we just got it shipped up and went to go pick it up at the yard one particular night once it finally got here. And it was kind of a weird experience because that was literally the first time I was laying eyes in person on the vehicle that I was getting. Like, I didn't really know what kind of options the truck had. Like, there were some pictures of the interior and stuff, but they weren't super good. They definitely didn't give you a great idea of what kind of shape the truck is in. You know, it's just the usual phone pictures and stuff like that, right? So seeing it in person for the first time, it was kind of exciting. It was like that anticipation of you don't entirely know what you just bought, which is kind of exciting. Not for the faint of heart, I guess, but I didn't spend a ton of money, so it wasn't the worst case scenario. But I was super pleasantly surprised because we went over to get the truck and realized when we opened it up that the interior was loaded. So a leather interior, which is great, heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel, a really rare DVD player option in the truck for the back, which was pretty cool. Like every single option that this truck could have, dual climate control, power rear sliding glass going into the truck bed, like every single option that this truck could possibly have, navigation, all that kind of stuff, it had, which was really cool. And not only that, the interior was immaculate, in incredibly good shape. And then we fired it up, fired right up, and the truck ran great, started great, ran great, sounded good. That was awesome. We did check out the rust, and the rust was a little worse than I thought. There was rust on the tailgate that I didn't realize was there, rust on the rear bumper, which was not great. Driver's side door, there was a spot that was not great either. So there's definitely more spots than I realized when I did my first walk around. But trying to get it back to my place, my brother-in-law drove it with the Auto Body Shop's dealer plate, and then I followed him in my Jeep. So we get back to my place, and my brother-in-law gets out of the truck and says, you know, I think your windshield isn't quite seated properly. And I thought that was really strange. I said, what do you mean the windshield's not seated? I've never heard of that. He's like, yeah, I haven't either. He's like, but sometimes I guess it could happen if a windshield replacement was done not too great. And of course it was night. It was probably 10 o'clock at night when we were bringing it back. So it was pitch black out, so he couldn't see very well. But my brother-in-law is fairly tall, so he could see pretty well over top of the truck. And he said, you know, I think you've got rust right through on the roof. And I was like, no kidding. So obviously I kind of jumped up with my phone, turned the light of my phone on, and really took a look at that top windshield section, and he was right. I could see a couple holes of rust that were right through on the roof that you obviously couldn't see in the pictures of the auction. Immediately that was kind of a problem. It's like, oh, okay, that's bad, because we can't let this truck sit out in the weather and get water damage inside. And then that immediately made me think, is there water damage inside? So I jumped inside the truck, looked at the headliner, no water damage anywhere inside the truck, which is good. That would immediately be a really big pain in the ass, and all of a sudden a massive job replacing an entire roof and liner of a truck would be just kind of a nightmare. So the next day, I finally got to see it in the light, pulled it into my driveway, and here's the truck here. You can see it's actually a really, really nice truck. And the cool thing about the Rams is they stayed unchanged in this generation for so long, even up till I think 2022, because you can get the Ram Classics, which is essentially pretty much the same truck as it was back in 2010. So parts are plentiful. Even though my truck is fairly old, I can get parts for it brand new right from Dodge if I wanted, or scrap yards and stuff like that have tons and tons of parts available. So parts availability is no problem whatsoever for the truck. So that end of it is really nice. It's not like the truck is obsolete. So if you're looking for a bit of an older truck for the same reasons that I needed a truck, that is one definite positive about going with a Ram in that regard, is parts are completely available, even new parts from Dodge for that matter. Now, one really big positive from the truck, to counteract the negative of realizing that there was extensive roof holes right through the roof with that rust, is the truck runs solid. Not only is the motor solid, and it does run like a brand new truck. It idles amazingly, power's there, no hesitation. It feels really, really good. But on top of that, driving it around town, the suspension feels solid. There's no creaks, no rattles, no weird bumps or clunks, nothing. The truck actually drives like it is a brand new, right off the lot, 2024, 2025 truck. It just feels incredibly solid. That's the best way you can describe it. And that's what my brother-in-law said to me as soon as he got out of it. He's like, this truck actually drives like it's a brand new truck. And me driving it myself, yeah, he's 100% right. This truck is in incredible mechanical shape, which means putting in a little bit of work to fix these body issues is 100% worth it for me, especially doing the work myself on the cheap while still being able to get it painted at my father-in-law's paint booth so that the paint job is still excellent. It's definitely worth it. And you know what? Doing the cam on my Challenger was a huge learning experience for me. I learned so much doing that, tackling that myself. a lot of the suspension work on my Challenger, tackling that myself, and with Matt helping me out and with Carmen helping me out with a lot of that stuff. I learned so much. So this will be no different. Tackling a lot of this body work with a Ram, not only will I learn a lot, way more than I currently know for sure, but on top of that, it might help some of you guys out too that have similar issues. These trucks, and not just talking the Rams here, the Chevs, anything made out of steel, they all have the same problems. Rocker panels rusting, box sides rusting, cab corners rusting, fenders rusting. It just, they all have the same common issue, all of them. So this might help out a lot of you guys too. So I figured this would be a good new project to have adjacent on my channel, as well as the Challenger build, which I'm not stopping with either. So guys, this is going to be a new part of the channel as well. So I figured I'd introduce to you my Ram 1500 and just some of the content that we're going to be putting out as well this summer. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.